Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Winding Road Podcast. Sun's shining a little bit, but pretty cloudy out here on the Winding Road today. Thank you guys for joining me. Be sure to hit like, follow, subscribe, all that good jazz. Much obliged. And just thinking about how when I hear people say things, you're already putting what's out there and what's if you're being negative, man, with what you say, I just think about it in terms of sports. It's like, are you determined to make it, or are you determined not to miss it? Thinking about a shot or whatever it might be, man. You cannot have the mindset of, oh, I really hope I don't miss that. Number one, if anything's going through your head, that's a problem, because you got to practice, you got to build up that muscle memory, and this just relates to everything in life, man. You got to build up that muscle memory, whatever it is that you're trying to do, putting in the good, weeding out the bad. And so that you're not really thinking about anything. You're just getting lost in the moment while you're doing it. And that's where we perform our best. But, just think about the shots of people say, oh man, it's just not my night tonight. Well, yeah, you just made it not your night by saying that. You're just affirming everything in your head, that you're speaking it out loud. And that makes it even worse. So you not only got to try to figure out a way not to think it, but definitely don't say it out loud. Then you're bringing it out into the universe, and then it increases. There's no doubt in my mind. I believe it increases the chance of that outcome. If you say, "Hey, man, I got this. I can do this." You don't want to get overconfident, because a lot of the time I borderline of, saying, "All right, I know I got this. I can do this." But then you borderline of, taking it for granted that it's just going to happen, but you still actually have to go through the process of making it happen. So it's best to just try not to think about anything while you're in the zone. You try to be in the zone. That's the whole point and the whole key, and we can be in these zones in our life by just letting that positivity flow, by weeding out the negative. And I was looking at a dude on YouTube the other day. Hopefully I'll remember to put it in the comments, just about manifestation and things like that. I guess there was like just all these different studies with people. I could put two rats together, and before that though, they told the people that this rat was better than that rat. So people's expectations then supposedly, then whoever they thought they were told which rat was the smarter rat, then supposedly that rat won more than he lost. Now, were the people up there, based on knowing that they think this rat is smarter than the other rat, are they up there then dangling cheese over in the direction so he can get to the maze quicker, or they're like trying to help him? I don't know. Like, we got to always consider the other side and think about things in a full circle of the knowledge that we have. But here's the thing, it's not going to hurt. It's surely not going to hurt to believe in that, like with your expectations of other people, like he was talking about, the dude on YouTube was talking about, whatever you expect out of other people, that's what you're going to get. Maybe it's determined by the words that you say to them that, that affects their actions towards you. That can definitely happen. But, you're perceiving those things in your mind, and it's like, all right, well, if, you're thinking other people saying things about you, but really, I mean, you're just really just saying it to yourself. If you're being down on yourself or whatever, thinking that, I know that person's talking about me and they don't like me and this and that. Well, you don't really know. So it goes back to, assuming the best about people. I talk about that a lot, It's like it says prepare for the best, but expect the worst. Well, I mean, yeah, I can get that, but I get that for sure, But if I assume the best, but yet at the same time in my mind, I am aware that the best may not be the actual outcome of that, and it may be actually the worst. So I'm not saying be naive and trust everybody, and and everybody's got your best interest at heart, because obviously sometimes people do not have your best interest at heart, because we are very selfish creatures overall, and that's just the way it is. That's human nature. But by assuming the best about others, we start to assume the best about ourselves, because I think anything we say is ultimately just a reflection of what we are telling ourselves about ourselves. And it's trying to figure out, how to get deeper in there, to get deeper to that soul level, to where all that love is hopefully in your heart. I feel that love in my heart, and I want to bring that out, and that's what's allowed me and helped me just to have mindfulness all the time, and to aware of how my actions can help or hurt other people. Whenever I say things or get mad or whatever, and say things that you don't mean, or things that maybe are true but they're very critical, and you don't say them in the right way, and then I'm like, damn it, man, I fucked up, I gotta be better. And I know, because then I'm just like, well, shoot, and then I'm always like, yeah, man, I gotta go apologize. I'm like the first to apologize, like, a lot. And overall, though, as a society, I feel like we do a terrible job of apologizing, and admitting we're wrong. That's the whole thing about it, is we don't want to admit that we're wrong, and that maybe somebody else was right. But really, to me, it's not about being right or wrong. In my relationships with anybody, my friends, my family, whoever it might be, I don't want it to ever be about right and wrong. Whenever I'm saying things to people, I'm trying to make them better. I'm trying to make myself better, and figuring out ways to say it that accomplish that goal. In the middle of doing that task, to try to help people, and it's just figuring out a way how to do that, man. And I think the mindfulness thing, it helps us, especially if we've built that up and we're doing a good job of it, of being aware when we're not our best, and either whether we're feeling physically bad or mentally bad, or just things aren't going right. It's like, okay, I recognize that, but it's only a problem because it's happening now. It's one big wave, and I can't let my feelings get to a point where, if I'm feeling bad, to where I'm spreading negativity to others. It's like, okay, all right, I recognize this, but I can remain positive. And the next thing you know, if you're feeling that way and you're able to overcome that, then you could turn a possibly bad day or a bad couple hours into a great day, and you can flip the script on it real quickly just by being aware of it, man. And I try so hard to do that. And I just go back to, just like little things, man, that you say to people that you might not think means really anything, but to them at that time, because I think about it, because I think about the times that people have said things to me, or just the way they've treated me, simple kindness, and just how that just really inspires me, and really, means something, just one little thing that they said, like little things that stick with me, good and bad, over the years. It's like those things can stick, man. So what are we saying? What are we saying to people? And for being positive and trying to be helpful, just in the little things, man. A lot of times it's cliche. I try to stay away from cliche things to say to people, because I think it can just go in one ear and out the other, because everybody else has told them that same thing. Oh, hang in there. It's going to get better. Well, yeah, maybe not. But in the moment, it's like, oh, cool, but I'm not good now, but yeah, maybe it'll get better. But I don't know, what else can you say? You ask questions, you ask them what's going on, you allow them to tell you what's going on, you know. And I think just saying like, you know, like trying to understand, maybe saying, you know, like, obviously I can't fully understand, man, but I hear you, I feel you on that. And then, you know, then maybe you could say like, yeah, man, like, yeah, it's going to get better, but you're really putting in that effort to be genuine, to seem like you genuinely care, and to genuinely care and have concern and things like that. And then, you know, and with me, it's always like that. The negative self-talk for me comes in, you know, by just, you know, not getting out of bed, man. And, you know, like, be okay if I was staying up at night and working on projects and things like that. But, you know, a lot of times I'm watching a game, and I love sports, but, you know, thankfully, like, you know, like I found myself, and there's always ways, the universe, the dark, the devil, whatever you want to call it, you know, figuring out new ways to pull you into some different type of addiction that's going to keep you from seeing the bigger picture of things and your bigger goals, you know, of loving and inspiring and uniting. Like, you know, like I've been able to overcome so many different things, you know, that I've talked about a lot on here with drinking and lusting and, you know, just whatever it is, cigarettes and, you know, whatever it is that you get caught up in. And like lately, like I got pulled back into gambling and sports gambling, and it was taken away. I mean, yeah, sure, I'm like putting out videos, doing sports predictions, and it's a lot of fun. And like, I'm just like, wait a minute, like I'm caught up in something that really, to me, is, you know, it's not bigger picture stuff. You know, I'm like focusing on games, and I'm watching games that I don't even care about any of the teams. I just care about whether or not I'm going to win or lose. And then I'm like getting, you know, then it's just anxiety. Like, sure, it might make it fun. Like, oh, cool, yeah, come on, guys, I'm going to win this game. I'm going to win some money. And it's like, okay, but then you lose, and then it's like, all right. Then you're chasing, then you're doubling down on your next bet. And it's just, for me, it was just like, what am I doing here, you know? And I'm like, I got pulled back in. It's just like we can get pulled back into these things so easily. Whatever it might be, there's so many different things that can pull us in and keep us on the surface, and, you know, not and away from that inner self and that inner love that you have in your heart, in your mind, and your soul. And, you know, I got pulled away from that, and it's just like, oh crap, what am I doing here? You know, because it was like whenever I was in sportscasting, I loved it, man. It wasn't a job. Heard me say before, possibly, that, you know, I don't believe in necessarily work from a traditional aspect of just doing it to make money. That's not where joy is found. So for me, I've always, my entire life, tried to figure out things that make me happy, that give me joy, and make money doing those things and leading my life that way. And for a long time, like, I was doing that in sportscasting, and then it stopped becoming fun, and I was out. I was like, I'm out. I knew I'd never write my book if I kept doing what I was doing, you know. And radio, just in general, doesn't pay well, so I wasn't getting paid that well. And, you know, I just had these other things that I wanted to do, and I just realized there's more to life than sports. Not that sports is not great, and I still love sports. And now that I've gotten away from gambling, you know, I'm like, all right, now I watch my favorite teams that I love, and I don't feel any anxiety when I watch them. You know, I'm like, sure, I want them to win, but I'm just rooting for them because they're my team, you know. And so, yeah, whenever I got away from sportscasting for 2, 3, 4 years there, around about 2, I guess, I was like, well, you know, I'm just really don't care about sports that much. I mean, I would still follow it some, you know, and keep up with it a little bit. And then I got into gambling. And then, I'll be honest with you, for a while there, yeah, I was like, cool, yeah, this did draw me back into sports and got me invested in them again. So maybe it wasn't all that bad, but I didn't have the same love that I had for it before. And now that I've escaped the gambling side of it, you know, I wasn't pissing away money that I couldn't afford to lose or anything like that, but I can spend my money in a lot better places. You know, I was just chasing money. through sports, and that wasn't doing it for me. So now it's like I'm back to feeling that love for sports again, but yet I am now making time on my other projects. Project update, Sports Center reference, pun intended. I'm back to doing things that I feel like just are overall bigger picture stuff, and can actually help and love and inspire and unite people, and that brings me joy. So now I have the joy for sports again, and I have the joy that my other projects are bringing to me if I could just get my ass out of bed. That's where the negative self-talk in the morning, I heard Joe Rogan talking about the other day, is like that voice in your head is like, oh man, just go back to sleep, man. Just go back to sleep, because nothing requires me to get up extremely early that I have to go do, like a job or anything else. It's like, okay, well, if I don't have to get up, how do I figure out something that's gonna make me get up to actually do these things? And I'm still trying to figure it out, in the morning, if I would just like, all right, bigger picture, but maybe it's not the bigger picture stuff, and I'm figuring out things on the fly here. It is the tasks, laying things out. They talk about people who are successful laying their day out the next day of their plans on what they want to accomplish that day, and write them down. Don't just put them in your phone. Don't just think about them. Write them down. And I'm inconsistent on that. It does have a lot to do with being consistent, because the days I write stuff down and I check them off, I feel really good about it, If I get 5 or 6 things, I may still have 3 or 4 things on the list, I have them there, that's part of tomorrow's list. So, and then we're focusing on our tasks and not our goals, but it's like, all right, what's going to get me out of bed, it's like, I think, okay, well, what if if getting out of bed was just going and making a social media post of just my morning thoughts, whatever comes to my mind as I'm trying to wake up, may not even be great, may not even be that coherent, because I might be still half asleep, but then you get your brain jogging, or you go do an actual workout, if you can overcome that voice that's just telling you, go back to sleep, go back to sleep. Sometimes I listen to my body if I'm really not feeling all that good. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I do need a couple extra hours of sleep, but I feel like a lot of times I just make that as an excuse, because I'm not really feeling bad. I'm just tired because I just woke up. So how do I overcome that hurdle of getting the frick up and getting things done on a more consistent basis? Because I just see all these things that I'm trying to do, and it's just like at a snail's pace, man. And I get stuff done, but it doesn't even feel like I get stuff done. I know I've talked about that before too, but it's just like trying to figure that out. Trying to figure that out, man. But yeah, just like something, put my phone in the other room, so I'm actually forced to get up, but I feel like that self-negative talk in the morning, I would just go in the other room, grab my phone and turn it off, bring it back to my bed. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hit the snooze for 30 minutes, another hour, even waking up, I've been waking up and, doing a little bit of reading and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's good. But then yet I'm like, all right, now I'm going to go back to sleep for 30 minutes. It's like, man, shit. Like, how do we get past that? And I'm working on it. I am surely working on it, it just goes back to, throw out a cliche now, just trying to be better every single day, and to go forward. And, we're going backwards sometimes, but it's just that positive, just trying to do the positive momentum of going forward, and I'm working on it. Appreciate you guys for being on here. Love, inspire, unite. God bless.